Why is that in my way? Hey kids! Welcome to the live taping of Podcast Pontification. So happy to have you with me here today. My name is Evo Terra. I do this every single day except Fridays, and also except this is the last week of Season 3 of Podcast Pontifications. Yep, going on break at the end of this month, which for me ends on Thursday because I don't do shows on I don't do episodes on Friday, and Thursday is Memorial Day. No, Friday. I don't do episodes on Friday. Monday, the 31st, is Memorial Day. I will not be working that day. And then I'm on vacation. So, season break upcoming. Kind of cool. But I'll be back in July. It's all good. Hey, if you are brand new to the program, welcome. This is the live taping. This is not the actual podcast that goes out itself, but just the live taping. So it is something I have done custom just for you fine people who like to watch me on LinkedIn, on the YouTubes, on Twitter, and also LinkedIn. That's where we're live right now. And you can see all this goodness over there. You're seeing all this goodness over there. That's the whole idea. So I do this live on these channels. In a moment, I'm going to hit the record button and actually record the full-on episode that will be distributed all of the places you might expect it to be. Also, many people choose to get it because they don't want to sit and listen to the live stuff, nor do they want to wait for other things to happen. Hi, Arlen. They just simply go to podcastpontifications.com, click the subscribe link at the top of the page. That will take them to a little form where they give me their email address. They give the website their email address. And every day when a new episode is published at 10 o'clock in the morning, that episode is sent. Audio file as well as the rewritten article where I take all of my words. It's all out there. So however you want to get it, man, it is up to you. Today on the program, we're going to be talking about facing podcasting's round peg, square hole problem, which I know is a little cryptic, but that's okay. Cryptically saying things is good. I'm taking off my glasses because I can already see the shine, and I'm not a fan of that. Oh, yeah, that was way too shiny. So now, no more shine. Yeah, it's going to be about distribution, about creating episodes, where we publish them, what we expect of them. Lots of really good stuff coming up here in just a moment. Let's see. Did I do this? I didn't do my... I did my things to get my voice ready to go. Yeah, I didn't do enough of it this morning. I was too busy. I didn't get a chance to do that. I had another meeting with my vocal coach on Friday. We're all good there. I'm going to take a pause from that because I think I'm in a pretty good place with the way the voice is doing now. So if you are a podcaster and you are worried about, hey, is my voice doing what I really want it to? Am I being as efficient as I possibly can with it? Highly recommend a vocal coach. So feel free to hit me up if you need any information about that. Last drink of ginger tea. And I say we begin. I vote, and since I am the only one who gets a vote, I vote we begin the process. So let's get that over there. Oh, you know what I did not do? I know what I did not do. I didn't pull up QuickTime Player because I'm recording it on the high quality of the QuickTime file. New audio recording. Make sure it's still maximum. It's still maximum. H6 maximum. That's what I wanted. So that goes over here. This gets a little truncated. I can still see the chat window in case anyone has any commentary. Oh, I went too far. I was too crazy, man. Too much crazy, man. Okay, there we go. I like to read out the cold open, as you know. Podcasters tend to take a monolithic view of podcast listening apps, as evident by wherever you get your podcasts. But human behavior is more complicated than that, and it's up to us to adapt. Okay, that felt pretty good. Let's do this thing. Oh, you know what? I need to crank up my volume a little bit. There we go. Yeah, that I won't shout at you. All right. Podcasters tend to take a monolithic view of podcast listening apps, as evident by wherever you get your podcasts. But human behavior is more complicated than that, and it's up to us to adapt. Hello and welcome to another Podcast Pontifications with me, Evo Terra. Most podcasters, at least those of us who wish our shows to grow, we want three things, and we want them in this order. First, we want someone to subscribe to our show so that, number two, they can download our episodes, and then, number three, listen to what we have to say. We really don't care where that first part happens, the subscribing part begins, because we know there are myriad apps out there people can and do choose to subscribe to podcasts on. We don't really care so long as it happens. Now, if we look at some fascinating reports, which I will have a link to Tom Webster's wonderful breakdown of what it means in the episode details. If we take a look, we will see that when we ask the public who listen to podcasts, what do you listen to podcasts on? They give us the following answers: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. And those numbers are fairly even between those. There's a little pluses and minuses there, but by and large, those are the three apps people who listen to podcasts say they use to listen to podcasts. But it's already off the rails for any of you who have ever looked in your podcast listening stats. Because we know that ain't true. Well, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. When we look into our stats, we will almost always see Apple Podcasts right there on top. So that part we agree with. But Spotify at equal level? That's insane. And YouTube, come on. These don't work at all. Well, I posit to you that perhaps they do. Well, first, we have a math problem. It's a math problem because the signals we are using to count on the back end, us podcasters who can see what's actually coming in and hitting our stuff, the way that those numbers are counted differently. It's a different process. Let me tell you what I mean, very briefly. Apple Podcast auto downloads, by the way, so does Overcast, your episodes of your show. So a download is just simply that. It's a download, it's not a listen. Spotify doesn't download at all. Really. It instead streams, okay, fine, pedants, progressively downloads, whatever. And they may or may not pass back the data properly to your podcast hosting app if it's not been set up properly, because they do cache the information and stream from there. And YouTube will never show up on your podcast stats because it's not hitting an audio file. You have to create a video file and upload it, and then you're stuck with YouTube's stats. So yeah, math's a problem, but I don't think math is the big problem here. The big problem here, I see it, is that we are treating all three of those listening apps exactly the same, instead of modifying the content we push out to those apps to make it specific for that platform. Let's take YouTube. YouTube is a perennial topic. It comes up all the time. We see it in the numbers. None of us believe it. But let's suspend our disbelief for a moment and do a breakdown of YouTube. What works on YouTube? Well, we know what works on YouTube are the things we see in our social media feeds all the time, and that is clips and highlights. That's what gets shared. Clips and highlights. Not an entire movie, television show, 45-minute long rant. But most of us podcasters, including myself here, when we use YouTube, we just dump out our entire episode. Try to make YouTube just one more distribution channel for us like we have everywhere else. But it's not. It's uniquely not, and we know it's not. It's not a surprise to us. It's not. Apple Podcasts, I just talked about how it auto-downloads. And there's a huge disconnect for any of you who've ever looked at Apple Podcasts back end, Apple Podcasts Connect, if you can log in. If you've ever looked, you've noticed a big disconnect between the number of listeners it shows and the number of downloads. Now, some have argued, as I have argued, that that may or may not be real. It's possible it's a data problem, or it's also maybe an echo of a once dominant platform now in decline. But away from Apple Podcasts, which is the only podcast-specific app that we have, and let's think of Spotify for a second. Now, Spotify, what is it mostly? It's a music-focused app that now has podcasts in it. But it's still music-heavy. The people who use Spotify are heavy music users. So maybe we podcasters should experiment with things that work in music, like alternate cuts, radio edits, live versions, re-releases, remasters, the things that are endemic to the music industry. We could do that on that platform. Because if these platforms really are where our potential audience are, and every year they tell us the same thing, people, they tell us that's where they really are, doesn't it make sense that we should try and meet them where they are? How would you change your publishing approach if instead of thinking about your audience, your overall audience, you thought of your Apple Podcasts audience different from your Spotify audience, which is distinctly different, once again, from your YouTube audience? I'll leave you with that pondering moment and say that this is the last week before I go on break. Season 3 will be over on Thursday. And then later on this week, by the way, just so you know, Season 4 is coming back. But later on this week, a special newsletter-only announcement will be going out to all PPIYI, that's Podcast Pontification in Your Inbox subscribers, which is free to subscribe. Go to Podcast Pontification, hit the big subscribe button, and enter your email, and you will be on the PPIYI list, and you'll find out what's happening with Season 4, which I've been teasing, and I'm going to continue to tease because I want you to subscribe to that newsletter. Yeah, you should. And if you loved this idea, this thought, make you wonder how you're going to shift your approach. Should you shift your approach? Thinking about these individual publishing destinations as just that, different places to publish different content, not just a place to drop the same thing. If that sparks an interest in you, whether you love it or hate it, please consider going to buymeacoffee.com/evoterra and doing just that, buying me a coffee. That's it. I shall be back tomorrow with yet another podcast, Pontifications. Cheers. Stop recording number 1 and number 2. Man, had a little, you heard that little, get a little weird and wonky inside. And plus, I almost had to sneeze once again. I don't know what's up with that. Twice now in the week. Anyhow, if you just tuning in and you missed all of that, hey, good news. Yes, you could back up and watch the entire thing live if that's what you wish to do. You'll get the full live experience there. Or you could go to podcastpontifications.com. That's where everything will be by 10 o'clock in the morning in 2 hours and 47 minutes. Yeah, it'll all be over there. Okay, let's check the chat and see if anything up there. No, just Arlen saying good morning, which is fine by me. Good morning. Thank you very much, Arlen, for watching. Thanks to the others who watched. I appreciate this. I'm going to go get all this other stuff done. Yeah, all of what's happening. Again, Podcast Pontifications in your inbox. If you are not yet subscribed, pretty please with sugar on it, do so. Free to subscribe. You get some more details coming out with you, for you, all of us here. Now I really am rambling, so I'm just going to shut up now and bid you all adieu. Okay?